Let's bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Lord, we stand before you in humble prayer before we start this program. We realize that without your blessings, we would not be able to succeed with the plans we have for this activity. Bestow your grace and divine wisdom to all of us present here, so we could cooperate and enjoy camaraderie and love for the greater glory of your name. Bless also those we have left behind our homes. May you grant them peace and happiness as they go about their activities. Bless people around the globe that they may enjoy peace and the goodness of your love. We ask all these through your mighty name. Amen.
Bire mazak wuro nogong moro wia kok manono tijik ningai.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world. A place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world.
Yeah, some are we born on the hills, some on the low coastal plains. Plenty rice and sugar cane, same Guyanese blood in our vein. So make we burn out the hatred, time for erasing. Can't make that destroy. 6 races I share the same space in this 83,000 square miles.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. We are one Guyana, it's paradise, it's our world.
Brother is a brother, no matter which religion is you. Could a Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, Hindu. Sister is a sister, real and true. One big pot of culture brew.
And all of we together could really make this dream come true. Of a brighter Guyana for me and you. Ocean to mountains, hear this tune. Take it cool.
We are one Guyana, a place of peace, a place of love. Runs deep like a beautiful rivers for Guyana. Oh, and when we stand as one, mighty like Mount Jerima for Guyana. For Guyana, our life would be beautiful, just like Guyana. She's blessed us with her own, just got to embrace her. They say, together, give her a standing ovation. This great nation, a little gem of this world. Yeah, Guyana, a place of peace, a place
All right. Pleasant good night to each and everyone who are now locked in on my first episode of this program and my new program here. And I want to say it's a pleasure having you here tonight, guys. I must take this opportunity to say a pleasant good night to Lacho Mahabir. I'm not seeing who are the others, but I'm seeing persons there. And you can just say a shout out. And guys, remember the lines will be open tonight at 611-0200, or you can look at the bottom there, 611-0200. So you can call in to share your views, voice your opinions. If you want to make a report, whatever, you can call in. But I will let you know when the lines are open. I have a few things I want to touch on here tonight. The current affairs or the current issues as of today and prior today. Also, I have a guest here tonight, which is no stranger to us. He's in the background there waiting as well to join us on the program here tonight to, give us a little update on recent developments and developments prior in his region. I think that is region number 6, if I'm correct. He will correct me as we get along. So before I bring in my guest here tonight, guys, um, there's a couple of things that I want to quickly touch on. And the first thing is I want to touch in here. This morning we had for some reason there was what to call it? It's more of violence. We had multiple gunshots and persons getting injured here. Persons were injured here in Linden this morning. I have a few clips of that. We have one here, and please excuse the contents, the language in the background. But I don't know if persons is aware of this, but I can run that clip for you a bit so you can see for yourself.
Nobody else is on there. You can get shit. One of them on the shop all the time. What is this foot? I don't want to shoot my foot. I videoing, fuck no. I videoing. This is shooting. Yes, I did not this one, but my fucking.
So, guys, that's just a little clip. When I listen to that, it's kind of strange to me. We've never seen that in Linden before. Only, I think that the last time we ever saw something like that, or we ever heard gunshots like that, it was in 2012 when we had the unrest. And when I saw this morning, it kind of like, it moved me a bit in a negative way because I've never known our community, our environment, our region to be a place like this. A few persons were injured. I think one person was stabbed in the eye, another one was chopped to the head, and I think about 3 persons were shot as well. So that is the extent it was this morning, and I'm hoping that the law takes its course to bring some resolution to this form of violence in our region. So yes, that was this morning. Apart from that, this afternoon I was sent a video from an individual from Letem, and I guess some of you would have seen this. I don't know if you would have seen it. All right, guys, that's a very short video. Actually, the incident here, this apparently this guy that you saw on the ground there, well, as you were seeing there, he lost his life. Himself and his son, they were heading to another village when they were attacked by a swarm of African bees. As you can look in the video, you can see a motorcyclist riding away, and that motorcyclist we must consider a hero because he was fortunately to help save the life of the child. But however, the father lost his life because he was attacked badly by the African bees. I must give credit to Graves Bus Service of Letem as well, who immediately attend in terms of giving or rendering assistance transportation wise in taking the little child to the Lethem Hospital as urgent as possible. So as we speak, the child is presently in the hospital, and we're praying and hoping that everything goes well and he recover as soon as possible. However, unfortunately, the father lost his life by that swarm of bees, and we just have to pray for the best, right? There is something else I want to touch on, and somebody sent this to me yesterday, and I was running through it. And, I would like to have Porson's opinion on this as well, right? I think Porson's would have seen this, but I still would like to highlight it, and you can share your views on it as well.
It's running a nuts inside of you and don't draw out. Shoot the fuck. The fucking big long got empty. They don't bore you, eh? I thought they're gonna lash you.
You ain't no fucking uniform.
You would have done get
Bite
bored.
to the fucking man, boy.
Hold it, sir, Anton, hold it, generator video. He would have done get bored. I shoot my head. Don't worry with that.
What did you say?
Bore it. Bore it. There's a salt. Bore it. There's disrespect. Boris gun.
Let's see this kid.
No, I got video.
Send the video to my dog.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Why you took him out to the wall? You got no right talking him on up to the wall.
Never mind this.
You got no right talking him on up.
There's one minute man go tell because I know the man for years, partner.
You can't chuck up the man.
The man fight the man run into me where what I do.
You snatch the man.
Because the man run when I talk to the
position that you said that you have.
You're supposed to do that.
Partner, that's why I comply with you and he's going to comply with me.
That's not complying. That's not complying because the man going to shoot you.
That's not complying.
He's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's going to do it.
But the man
do it.
the man act like how you supposed to act. The man act like how you supposed to act.
Focus. Because the position that you have, we have people higher than you. But we got people in position higher than you, friend. I ain't complaining, but you motherfucker tomorrow. I complain. What's your name?
What's your name about you no more? What's your name about you no more? What's your name about you no more?
23744, you tell them.
What's your name?
I said tell them 23744.
Perfect. Perfect.
There's a lot to put into consideration with that video, right? First, this young man or the individual that calls himself a police officer, that's the guy in the blue shirt. His conduct is definitely out of order. in many ways, you can listen to that. And I think he identified his numbers well, 23,714. And at 23 police, here 23 police is somebody who just joined the police force. I think police is something like 24 now or 25. So at 23 police barely must see. I don't even think a 23 police even make a lance corporal or a corporal right now, right? So you can see that he's exercising force and using the name of the Guyana police force, and we're not sure because anybody call it themselves police right now. Everybody going out there and call themselves police, and even though he claimed to be a policeman, as like the onlookers were saying, you're supposed to act the way the young man acted, right? And that's a security guard. Now, there's a lot of things wrong in that video there. First, you have the assault, and then secondly, you have the onlookers there. Those persons who are, trying to tempt the young man and shooting the guy or bore him with a knife and so on. These are the things that, these are the things that we have to look out for in the public, because let us say that a young man had listened to them and take crank up a car into Guyanese, and he hurt that guy in some way, whether it was whether he shot him or stabbed him with a knife or something, right? Those who were there, I'm pretty much sure none of them would have turned up to say that, they are witness to this man being assaulted by a so-called policeman, right? A guy who claimed that he's a police. And I must say, like I said on the post yesterday, I really do admire the patience exercise by this security guard. Because, we live in a very hostile society today. Like, for instance, look what happened this morning, right? You live in a very hostile society, and anybody that have access to a firearm in their hands, and especially that's a high-power rifle that he has there, right? He could have taken action, right? So I must commend him for the patience exercise. And people have to be more wise out there. You're pushing that guy to do something that is definitely wrong, right? And when he gets himself into trouble now, what will happen? None of you are there to save him. And then the other thing, when you look at the persons in the car, you can see the policeman or the so-called policeman was under the influence of alcohol. The guy was trying to get him in the car. I assume it's a driver. He was also under the influence of alcohol. You can look at them out there walking and so on, right? So these are things, if you observe that there's so many things wrong in that video. And I'm hoping that the Guyana police force will investigate in depth into this particular incident and ensure that justice is being served where it's supposed to be. And that so-called policeman, if he is a policeman, he needs to be in custody. He needs to be arrested. And for a matter of fact, for his attitude, he should have been out of the system for the way he operated. All right. So I must commend once again a young man for his tolerance towards an issue like that. I have another video here that was sent to me this morning by an individual. I think many of you would have seen it, and I think a lot of persons commented on this. Tell me, what are your views on this, guys?
Alright, Steve, let's show you. What are the police officers doing anymore?
Oh, sorry, not that one. I think it's this one here.
People talk to this big man already. This big man not living in this house. You train them to play up on this road, right? Every man you wake up, fresh shit up on the road. Every morning you wake up, fresh shit up on the road. You tell you about it, you're still doing it. Lynn, see me training there's a plane here, partner. People talk to you about this thing here already. I want you to stop doing it, partner. This shit will shine on the road steady, bro. What do you mean you want to show your video with it, bro? I have a camera there. Do you want me to show you a video? Sir, me coming for nothing, bro. I need you to stop, though. There's not the first, second, or third time. Stop it, bro. Me chair display upon this road, brother.
That is something that is so disturbing, right? That is so disturbing. Now, I wanted to know the guy that they accused of this action. I wanted to know if this man got toilet in the house or in the yard or something. According to the guy that did the video, this is something. Actually, it's a habit. This is what he does on a regular basis. He just throw his feces in on the road. Well, I see them like they lighted a fire, right? I wanted to know if he ever really think of what he's doing, and then like the guy said, I have my children to play on the road and so on. Then how could you do something like this, right? People need to be more self-conscious in this society, man. How can you just do something like that, right? What can I just feel it's just wickedness, man. It's just wickedness and laziness, right? And I hope that the authorities can take actions on this as well, because this goes against um, the EPA laws as well, right? And I hope that he can penalize and face the law for this here as well. And that is good that the young man brought it to the public's attention, right? Because like I'm saying, there's a lot of things. For a matter of fact, talking about bringing things to attention. Um, when I put up earlier the video with a guy that was being stung to death by the African bees, one of my follower commented and she said that there's a hive of bees opposite where she lives, African bees as well, and she's reported that incident to the NDC for months now, and nobody has done anything about it. And I told her, I don't know if she's going to call on the program tonight, but I told her, sometimes we have to utilize our social platform more wisely, because it seems like most of the time it's only when things hit social media, then people act on it. And this should never be, right? This should never be. It's only when these things start coming out on social media, then people in authorities will act, right? And then, when you look at it, most of the time people, it end up pointing at the government. The government this, the government that. You have to realize that their persons are elected in various constituencies under whether it's a municipality or whether it's an RDC or NDC. You have been elected officially or constitutionally elected in those positions to look into the welfare of the people. The government has nothing to do with that. And persons who don't understand the system, right? They will then, blame the government. Oh, the government then coming and move the bees. The government are doing this. No, right? That's not the government responsibility. So I urge people in various constituencies, in regions, and municipalities, if you see things are not being done, put aside who you support, put aside politics, put aside which party or which government you support. You have to look into the best interests of yourself, of your family, of your community. And if you are reporting this constantly and nothing's being done about it, then take it to another level. Put it out on social media. Use it wise. Use it wisely. And then when you put it out there, you will see how quick they will act on it. Right? So, persons, I need you to be very conscious. When you see things happen in these areas, they are elected officials in your communities who's supposed to be looking into this. Right? So I'm just, educating you on this here as well. One more thing I want to highlight before I bring in my guest here who's waiting in the background as well. And this has to do with the police again. Right now, look at this video and then we're going to talk about it. It's very short, right? But just look at this.
Alright, Steve, let's show you. What are the police officers doing in Monkey Monkey? What? See? What's up with them again from nothing? What? See what is them? Likewise, video, you need to.
So that is a young man in Monkey Mountain, which is in the deep north of the Rupununis, right? That young man there apparently was assaulted by a police officer, where you can see he has a laceration to the head, right? Now, good night to you, Jason. Good night to you, my brother. Deborah Neblet, good night to you. Now, I understand the police has a big task out there, especially with the society that we're dealing with today, right? The police working easy. Let me tell you that. The police have to deal with all kind of people, right? And they have to deal with all kind of attitude and everything out there, right? But again, the police as well need to act more responsibly, right? We living in a world of technology where everybody have access to a smartphone. Almost 95% of Guyana's population have access to a smartphone. And as you can see, that is in an Amerindian village, right? You can see how far it is. And those persons have access to a cell phone, right? And from the time something happens, people are prepared to record you, whether it's voice recording or video recording. Police, y'all need to be more smart. You understand? I'm not saying smart and hurt people. I'm being smart and trying to control your anger, because this is one of the things you're being taught in the Guyana Police Force, right? To control your temper, self-control. Not everything you act out upon. Now that young man there, you can see he's bleeding. You don't know how intense is it, right? Sometimes it looks just like a normal gouge or a normal laceration, but sometimes it's even more worse than that, right? And I can tell you personally, from my own experiences, traveling around Guyana in most of the Amerindian villages around Guyana, I've seen it in many Amerindian villages where the police officers are taking advantage of certain situation where they're assaulting the Amerindian people. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this because I've seen it. And because in many occasions, or on many occasions, these persons might not be knowledgeable enough how the system works, who to go to, who to report these incidents to. Sometimes they just take it. Most of these things are being swept under the rug. You understand? Most of the time, these things are being hidden. There's a whole lot happens in these villages where I know police officers are taking advantage on these Armenian people, and nothing is being said and done about it. Most of the time, these matters don't reach out to the authorities. It is being dealt with in there. You understand? And this is one of this is one here, or this I should say is one of many, many that happens on a daily basis. And I say on a daily basis. And I'm urging people, I'm urging especially my Armenian brothers and sisters, use your smartphones wisely. When you see things like this happen, y'all record it. Send it out. Get it to the right people. You understand? Because we cannot accept this sort of, I can't even find words to describe when I'm thinking about it. But we cannot sit and accept our Armenian brothers and sisters being treated like this, or nobody in general, no citizen or nobody in Guyana should ever be treated like this here. As well, on the other hand, I can't be unfair. People also need to understand the law as the law, and you have to comply. You comply and then complain. You don't jump out and then you aggravate the police, especially if you see a young policeman, you aggravate and then the police act, and then you shout out police brutality, right? It's not a one-side thing, it's both sides. We need to be responsible for our actions too, right? So guys, that is just a few things I want to touch on. And tonight I have with me a guest who's no stranger to us. He's all the way from, I think it's Region 6. And he's going to be giving us a little bit, a little highlights on some recent developments, like I said, and prior to that, in his region so far, especially in the aspect of agriculture. So I will now take the opportunity to bring my guest on screen here with me tonight. So good night to you, Mr. Gobin. Good night to you, Mr. Gobin Harbajan, and thank you for being here with us tonight.
Good night. Good night.
All right. So, Mr. Gobin, let us get straight down to business. I know you're a serious man with business, right? And I'll be very straightforward here. I know you're from Region 6, right? If I'm right? That's Region 6.
Yeah, I'm from Region 6, that East Berbice, and also I cover areas within my Reach 5 and Essequibo, wherever my thoughts on people call me for assistance or where I'm around. So it's a broad base. I'll give you some broad base collectively what I think is going on and what should be and some of the suggestion, and you raised one good point about RDC, municipality, and NDC. And many times government tends to have blame for things which these officials could have been dealt with. But in overall, central government is doing tremendously work across the length and breadth of this country when it's come for infrastructure, NDIE, and other things.
Yeah. So, Mr. Arbajan, let me just shoot directly here now. I know I've known you for a number of years. I visited your community. You and I had one-on-one conversations before, and also I know you're an animal activist as one. Apart from that, I know you as a respectable person in your community. And prior to this government, prior to 2020, I know you served within that region as the prime minister rep under the coalition government, right? Um, I would like you to just give us a little synopsis of what are your thoughts prior 2020 and after 2020 to date, 2024, what are your thoughts in terms of development and the comparison between the former administration that you once worked with and the present administration in terms of development, especially in the aspect of agriculture, because I know Region 6 is a more agriculture based community?
Yeah, Barbies in general, Region 5, 6 is predominantly agriculture. And most people, I think 80% of the people, based on my knowledge, is self-employed, and who is not into agriculture have other businesses. Yes, I serve the capacity as a prime minister representative from 2015 to 2020. Also, I serve as an RDC councillor and a few board of directors nationally. And if I were to compare the development that we have in from 20, actually I'll go 2021 because there was a lot of hiccups in 2020. 2020, that's when I resigned from the EFC. I was an executive member there. From 2021 to presently, all across Guyana, this massive infrastructure development is going on, and it's a plus. Compared to 2015 to 2020, we were just in office there, and the finance was not as much as we have now, but there was fight different in different region because some of the region was predominantly the RDC controlled by then the opposition, which was the PPP. So there was always rift. And but my objective, serving as the RDC, if it's benefit the people and the PPP put forward it, then I support them and they support me, vice versa. And that was our objective. We were not bickering and fighting, so or if they were, I was just shooting what's best for the people. And my office was in the heart of Port Morant because that's the founder area of the PPP leader, the late Shady Jagan. But the whole thing is what's best for the people. And what you have today, you have abundance of development going on. Yes, you're going to have corruption, but at the local level, where you have some of these guys, like you said earlier, is democratically elected to serve the NDC or serve the region or serve the municipality. And sometimes because of their ignorance, the government get the bad name. And that's first thing come out in social media because and the citizen of Guyana must understand what you lay out earlier, that they must understand the local system. Because like you mentioned, the bees, the girl have a bee problem, she go to the NDC. The NDC job was I just want for your followers for information, I'll show you some good information here. Every NDC have a SI, sanitation inspector. And once a complaint is lodged, the overseer, who is like a little HR for the NDC and or CEO for the NDC, his job, because the chairman work with stipend, His job is to get on to EPA or get on to the sanitation inspector. Look, you in the field, go down there. Then you get this. Some way they got to assist the lady. But how many people out there know that? They will wait until the vice president or president land in the region, and they will flock by numbers, with little mini trench and little garbage problem. So people out there must understand that the government have local organs, the RDC, the NDC, and the municipality. Each NDC, I think, would have about 16 councillors, and those councillors' job is to go in the community, represent the people there, and whatever problem they face. And if the NDC cannot manage it within the region, then they reach out to the RDC, and then they can go on to central government. But most cases, central government is basically fetching the weight here. And as the vice president said, I think that was in a Sikibu, some of these NDC is failing his government. And those are the things that people need to look at. One, for me, I don't want to see government fail. So I fully support any government at the end of the day. And I will continue to do so, because one of the biggest projects I put forward in 2016 to the coalition government was an all-weather route, something like duplicate of Blackbush, from the public road next to, well, you know the area where 63 Beach come back from 58 all the way to Kanji Creek, which people can live both sides of heavy development and agriculture. And in 2016, 2017, that idea was shelved. Come PPP came into office in 2020, and I pushed this back, and I know the PPP government have talked about more infrastructure, more land opening, and the PPP government make that road a reality. So today that road is about 7 miles completed, and it's going there. And that's something I'm proud of, to be pushed then, and to see that this administration pushing it. But you're gonna have people out there, especially I have nothing against the diaspora people, but sometimes they sit behind a smartphone and they see everything from overseas, and they all want to be advisors. Rather than send the recommendation to the respective NDC and suggestion, then you dump it on a minister or the president or vice president at meetings, because you know you got to trickle down back to the local organs. And back to Borbis and the Borbis Region 5 and 6 and Essequibo, you know, for this year, a last crop, right, is over 63,000 acres of land cultivated. That's what I know in Borbis, and maybe other areas. But the yield was high. Rice farmer is happy. Yes, you're gonna get hiccups, but as I mentioned, you're gonna have corrupted officials. You're gonna have corrupted engineers, local level. And as I saw Freddie Kisoon put it on from Rajendra Bisasar the other night, if you have the evidence, like you said, smartphone is there, bring it, and then we can, bring it to guys like us who are activists and for development. I mean, and I will push it if you don't find the right ears. But if you don't have evidence of corruption, it's hard to get rid of an official because of the legal system.
Yeah. So, I heard you mention about the all-weather road that you proposed prior to 2020, and after 2020, that proposal made again, and it's been done. All right. Apart from that, similar to your experience, I've seen that here in Linden, Region 10, where I'm from. We all know over a number of years that I think it was more of an indoctrination where the younger generation, like myself, were taught that, look, Linden itself and Region 10 is known as a PNC, and we were fed with that knowledge, or given that mentality that when you reach the age to vote, then you must vote PNC, right? However, we got into coalition, so most of the people, the people that older than us, I can say, when you find out from these people that why have you been voting PNC for a number of years, they will say things like, I grew up in a PNC house, right? I grew up with a PNC home. My mother vote PNC, my father vote PNC, my grandfather, my great grandfather. So I'm gonna vote PNC. So that was a kind of like indoctrination to me. You grow in it, so you have to follow it. But we live in a society today now where people are more educated, and then more so you have a government right now who is focused more on education and in educating people, right? And why I mention this is to say that although that mentality has been given to people to say that Linden is a PNC town or APNU town now, as they call it, they claim ownership to this town. Yet, there is nothing that the PNC can show for the past 50 years in terms of development for Linden itself or Region 10, right? Many proposal like you as well. I also serve as the Regional Development Officer for Region 10 under the indigenous communities. And there were I was tasked with responsibilities in 10 Armenian villages. And when I go into these Armenian villages, I see the people literally were suffering. You know, people were telling you by, since this government take over, this fall apart, that fall apart. The PPP started this project. When the APNU came into power, they just put it aside, they trash it, and I see people suffering. I made recommendations, right, to my immediate boss, which was the former Minister of Armenian Affairs, which was Sidney Alikak. I made recommendations and said, look, these are things that need to be done in this community. But what you find happen then is that it was a kind of like, not it was kind of like, it was a power struggle among the parties within the coalition. Every party wants to be labeled as the best. They are doing the best. So if, like, for instance, Sydney Alikak Party, which is the Guyana Action Party, would go forward with a recommendation, the PNC would turn it down, right? So it was a scramble among themselves within the small parties within the coalition, and that stifled the development, right?
I don't want to cut you before I forget, right? You raised a good point here. I came from the AFC fraction in 2015, and we fought hard to remove the PPP then. Once we get in office, remember I'm from the AFC fraction, I find that we were in no man's land. Even some in the AFC was been muscled by the APNU. So it became an internal fight rather than the grassroots people who give the coalition a chance. It was not too much attention was paid to them. It was all an internal thing, about position, who will get what and who is not listening. So we lost our way, and because of that, I think it will be very difficult for small party to come on board. No, people lost the trust because they put it all out there for your party and the AFC. I'm not from the PNC, or I was never from the APNU. I want to get a clear there. Since 2005, I'm with the AFC. And once we won the election in 2015, my roller coaster ups and downs, anyone can Google it. We was a tug of war in the press. I was fighting my own party people. And we have that internal. And in 2018, Lamar, when the AFC chose to run the local government independently, they were actually crippled in Berbice. They must have came up with 1 or 2 seats when there was about 300 NDC seats. So this what happened. And then that put PPP right back in business in 2020. And the people who would have crossed the floor to give the coalition a chance, the people was in the middle, so they tipped over and give back the PPP a chance to come in. Nevertheless, with the manifesto was out there with the PPP then, I personally believe that the manifesto was a heavy one, the PPP, and they may not able to keep up with all the promises. And look around you. I don't know how. I never went to Linden, but look at the all other regions. Some places people never see a concrete street, seen it for the first time. And I myself would advocate a lot of mud and tractor coming out, and today all those streets are all concrete. And by doing so, yes, you will have criticism out there, which I support some of that. is that some of these contractors is not giving government value for money. For instance, government openly put out tender. These guys go, they must find some connection. They will end up getting a contract, 4 or 5 street worth hundreds of million, and they will subcontract it, and they will try to make 25%. The other contractor try to make another 20%. Now the government is only get 55% value for money. So those are the things I think the government can clamp down on and find the right people, because when you have that, as you said, government will get badly. The work is getting done, and in any country you're going to have corruption. There's no silver bullet can fix any problem, Lamar. We don't have one of that. You're going to have ups and downs, you know.
Well, I want to ask you a question based on what you said there just now. The PPP's manifesto, 2020 manifestos. It was a manifesto for the entire country.
Yeah.
And though it trickled down to various regions, what are your thoughts within your region or your entire constituency based on the manifesto and the promises that were promised for that particular community? Do you believe personally that the government or the PPPC would have delivered on their manifesto promises within Region 6?
Across the country, like I said, I was pretty broad based. Across the country, they would have proved a lot of us wrong. They did fulfill 90% of those manifesto. Maybe they would some would say 100, but I still believe that they did a tremendous job by, especially when it's come to drainage and irrigation. NDIA, which fall under the Ministry of Agriculture, give credit to that department. You also have where they inject billions into the rice sector, and as you know, rice is basically private millers and farmers, with export and government only give them the tools. So those are some of the thing, and then come this 10-day part-time work. I mean, some people who never come out and work for the first time end up with a job. Yes, the money may be little and small, but at least they have something. And garbage collecting at these NDC, some NDC have 2-3 tractors. And then you have school vouchers now is in different things. Parents is getting that. And then you have the public assistance was increased. You have the old age pension, and a lot more thing. You have some highways going. I think Borbies is slated for 4-lane, and that's been contracted out. I have several meetings with the private sector, members of the private sector who I know personally. Some is former president and some still executive members. And I have several discussions with the vice president. And when you meet official like that, you put your ideas. I mean, and I will be very straight here. Some of the things that I would accomplish and put for what's benefit the people to the coalition during 2020, compared to 2020 to now, I think this government listened to some of it and execute it with different ministry. As far as the agriculture, as I said, Borbis is predominantly agriculture. The agriculture minister, I mean, I don't know how we keep up, but he in Borbis more often. Even every rice farmer, I know big rice farmer, have this man for cell phone number, and there is not one farmers, even rice or cattle or any kind of farmers, see that they didn't have a government injection into their business, what they're doing. So yes, the manifesto play a major part what they said they were going to deliver. As I said, in 2020, I would have questioned it too, but nevertheless, it happened. And that's what we like to see. If you have a big budget out there into the hundreds of billion, and if you have 70% of that budget go to what it's projected to, it is a plus.
Yep. Now, you mentioned about the Minister of Agriculture and how often he's in Region 5, Region 6. Sometimes it might sound real weird. You know, you wanted to know if these ministers are cloned, and especially when it comes to Minister Zulfikar. Um, Minister Zulfikar is all over the place. One time he's in Region 1, he's Region 10, he's Region 9. I travel to Region 9 regularly, and sometimes I boat up with the minister at the airport. You know, he's heading to Region 9. Sometimes I boat up in Region 9. He's at Region 7, and he's all over. But I say this to say that apart from all of our ministers, right, I can personally attest to um, all of our ministers are very active and they are out there. But Minister Zulfikar, you know, he's always in every region. He's very responsive, and like you said, you know, everybody, almost the average person, has his number, and I can attest to that personally because if there's an issue in my region, something that I observe, I will call him directly, Chief. This is it, and his phone don't ring more than 3 times, right? I can tell you that. You call him, his phone don't ring more than 3 times. He's answer immediately. And if you said, Chief, this is the issue, right away you get somebody to call you, or if he can deal with it right there, you deal with it right there. Right? And this is what the people, this is what Guyanese lack of prior 2020. Um, those persons who were in government and as ministers were very much accessible prior 2015. You know, people talk about them, even to Granger, they were accessible. You could get them anytime, meet them in the streets, you know, and these things. But as soon as these persons get into government, they immediately disconnect themselves from the people. And once you do this, right, it's going to create a barrier. People is going to remember you. And there are several videos out there. People said, when you was out there begging for our votes, we could get on to you since you go into government, like you change your number, right? Now, compare those ministers prior to 2020 or under the coalition to the ministers now, even to the vice president, even to the president, right? If you call the president, you call the vice president. I don't know for persons, but I can tell you if you call the president, you call the vice president, you call the prime minister. All right. If they miss your call, they will call you back immediately, especially for the vice president. I can tell you this. If you call him and he miss your call, you rest assured he will return your call and he deals with the matter immediately. And this is what connects the people. Sometimes people just need words of comfort, right? And going back to the manifesto, I believe, especially in my region, I believe that the PVPC would have delivered based on the manifesto in my region at least 99%. There is so much I can tell you, Gobin. There is so much happening here in Region 10 right now. You can catch up on development. I can catch up on development in the Amelia's Ward. I took a drive up there a few days ago, and I guarantee you, every single road and cross street, right, that didn't have concrete road or asphalt road, I guarantee you, 99% of those roads are presently under construction. Right? Roads that I thought that were impossible to fix or to construct, you can see the massive development. In early part December, you had over $420 billion signed in contract here in Region 10, right? And I guarantee you that Linden, presently as we speak, is at least $210 billion rich. I'm talking about money in hands because most of those persons would have already acquired or collected their mobilization monies. You understand? And that's only we talking about the roads. We haven't talked about drainage and irrigations and other small contracts, right? So this what I personally experienced in Linden here recently. It's unprecedented, right?
You know,
Business are business are
one of the
blooming.
things
Business are blooming in Linden.
you mentioned about minister. I'll be fair here. Not all is accessible presently and previously. You have good ministers who who will make their cell phone, even if they miss your call, they call you back or through a text because everybody have WhatsApp now. But their ministers, we always gonna get disappointment, and there is a few I'm very very disappointed with in this administration. And this is what happened when president or vice president or other official come to the region, and this is what swamped the complaint. So there is unsatisfactory some ministers. I mean, take for example, I call out the Minister of Sports the other day. I don't care how much rosy he put it out there. Some of these playground that he, I don't know, maybe from pen and paper it looked very attractive, but when the vice president come to Albion or other places, you hear people still complaining. If you when you Lamar, you have to understand how you empower people and gain their trust. That's a good start. Ministry of Sports should be one of the model. How you come after the NDC come community ground, and I don't think that been capitalized to the level I see it. That you when you take these grounds over and you started to do the fencing and you started to set up get it up to standard. You know what, Lamar? You don't empower the same NDC political or your party councillors to manage the affairs of the ground, because the councillors already have the plate full with being an RDC councillor, NDC. And if you give them more responsibility, then you overload them. And some of them want to take it because they want to look, this macho-ness. But if you empower people, even if it's a PNC or a WP or anybody within the community, and make a group, form a group, and say, man, look, you all take this ground, because you empower people and then you gain the trust. And then same people will come back and support and vote for you. You follow, but when you duplicate the NDC councillors and say, look, I control the playground. What do? You handicap the community, and then when the people in the community complaining during election time, those are the people who look for political small party to vote. And when an NDC fail, it become a breeding ground for political parties, small one, to go capitalize. Right. Exactly. When I was the APNU AFC treasurer, I was the treasurer for AFC in Barbados prior to the 2015. One of the things we couldn't afford much in Barbados with TV commercial. We hit the ground. And what do? We hit them. And if in every community, the PDP community, we pick up 10, 15, 20 vote, it add up. So I believe some of the general secretary for the PDP may have it spot on what he wants, but that's been delivered. So you cannot listen to your own people all the time. You have to put your ear to listen to other people too, because if you fill the audience with you people moving around, then the guy at the back who want to tell you exactly what happened, it's just not going to work. And we have election coming up 2025, and every political ministers or regional official must be on the A game, because social media give you the opportunity to talk to people in their pocket now, that, right? And if you don't use social media to capture or win people over by listening to them, Lamar, when I don't know how Lyndon's situated, but in Barbados and maybe in other region, people looking for an ears and a shoulder to lean on when they got problems. And if officials does not make that available, then another person will come by. I mean, those are advice I put out there, and I just text from top official, and they listen to me. But the local officials need to come off the high horses, be friendly, and be on their A game, listen to the local people, the grassroots people, because the majority voters in this country is grassroots people. You have to listen to them, and the government pumping in billions in these NDC and RDC. Use your resource. Like I said, central government is doing a lot with all the infrastructure, NDIA, public works, give Jack his jacket. But in local level, somebody got to pull the cane on them.
I agree with you. Well, Gobin, I think I know for sure your recommendation will not go on deaf ears. And these are things that definitely needs to be highlighted. You mentioned it very clear. 2025 is supposed to be election year, and I believe that everybody needs to get their A game up. And I would say publicly, I'm confident of the return of the PPPC. However, I would not hesitate to say, or I would not hesitate to say to the person that, oh, just sit down and it's going to happen. You have to go there and work. The government is doing a whole lot. I know some parts might say, oh, it's taxpayers' money, whatever. I agree, it's taxpayers' money, but the thing is how it was managed comparing to how it was managed before, right? I believe that every Guyanese, almost every Guyanese, is getting a slice of the cake. Everybody's benefiting, right? If you're not benefiting, then something definitely is wrong. You need to position yourself. Government is not there to um, hand feed you. You have to meet them halfway, and this is what persons don't understand, right? People, some persons are of the opinion that the government got to come and give me this, the government got to do this. No, the government is just the foundation of your future. You have to make it happen for yourself. So,
There's so much
anything,
job opportunity. There's so much job opportunity out there. Tons
yeah,
of job opportunity out there. And they, like you said, I don't think government reaching them halfway. Government reaching them three-quarter way, right?
more than halfway,
More, right?
yes.
And they need to take, rather than complain. You see, if you and I sit in a restaurant or we sit somewhere, we'll find 10 complaints. But we have to
Exactly.
come up with an idea how to fix it. And the government is telling them, here, I'm up there. You tell me, farm, you complain about streets, you complain about this not done right. The government say, okay, farm yourself a committee, and here's the bill of quantity, help us supervise the job. They don't even want to do that too.
Exactly, exactly. All right, Terry, is
All
Govind.
right.
So, is there
Thank you for
anything
having me.
before we close? Anything that you want to share or so on?
Yes. As an animal activist for over 15 years, I want the public to know that we all should join hand and fight against animal cruelty. There's an animal cruelty law in this country. If you see animal is being abused, report it to the nearest police station and person will be charged. In 1998, the former president, Jagdev, then would amend the animal cruelty law and put that they will be jailed, not no fine. So there is a law exists. I'm also asking the commissioner of police and commanders, get your officers them to enforce the animal cruelty law. And let we go down that line. That's all I would like to say. And I'm calling on all the NDC and RDC council across the country. You are democratically elected by the people to serve them. Do it, and don't do it arrogantly. Show them that you can, your party, with who you represent, is here for them, and that you will put your best foot forward.
Exactly. All right, Govind. So it's a pleasure having you here tonight on the program,
Yeah.
Chief, and I do appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. Give me your time. I know the viewers would have gathered something from your input here tonight. I myself would have gathered something, and I will definitely hope to have you back on my program again.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All right, guys. So that is Mr. Gobian Harbajan from Region 5, Region 6. And, I know he would have instilled some knowledge in you, and I hope that you utilize it wisely. And one of the things I want to reiterate here tonight, I want persons to understand the system, because in many times you go around or you will hear people coming to you and say, man, the government is doing nothing about this. This ain't happening in this area. The government is doing nothing about it. The president is doing nothing about it. The prime minister, the vice president, the ministers, they're not doing anything about it. Guys, you have to understand that they are elected officials, especially if it's in a community that has an elected official of the opposition. Then the government cannot or will not by no means try to infiltrate, right? Because anytime the government does that, the first thing they'll, oh, the government bullying the way it come in as a council in this area, you don't tell me nothing. These are the things that they will come out and say. So you have to be wise enough and understand the system. You deal with your councillor, deal with your municipal councillor, your representative, whoever is in that area, them, you know. And if you are reporting these matters on many occasions and they're not getting attention, like I said to the young lady this afternoon, if you got to do a video and send it to me, send it to the number below. Let me know what is your concern. Once it's nothing derogatory or defamatory, I will definitely put it out there, right? I will definitely get it out there, because sometimes we need to take drastic measures to have a drastic result, right? So that's it, guys. I want to just open the line for a few minutes if anybody needs to call in. If you have anything of concern, if you have a question that I can answer, because I may not be able to answer all your questions, or if you have a complaint, you can feel free now to call in on 611-0200, and that's the number below there, 611-0200. You can call in now, and you can share your views and opinion. If you have any recommendation towards the program, things that you would like to see, things you want to hear, please share it with me, because remember, this program is not my program. This program is your program. It's all about what you want to hear, right? And matters of concern that you want to discuss. So feel free, guys, to call in. So the lines are open. The lines are open. Good night to my brother, Chris Takurbasa. Thank you for tuning in. Regim, good night to you, my brother, and thank you so much. Corin Declue, good night to you. Patricia Solomon, good night to you. Each and every one that are locked in on the program. And guys, I'm just letting you know in advance, this is my new program. It's called On Target. And I haven't decided yet. I'm now working on the timings and days, but you will see me from now on and bring in these discussions time and time. We're going into elections, and we need to be vigilant. We need to be focused. All right, so let me know, guys. If you need to call in, you can call in now. The number is 611-0200. Call in and let me know if there's anything of concern, anything you need to highlight, anything. And guys, remember, I want to encourage persons to utilize your cell phones wisely, utilize your platforms wisely, utilize your Facebook account wisely. You know, the Vice President talked about that many times before, and I would reiterate that, you know, we have to start using social media wisely. Don't use it for nonsense, right? Put positive things out there. There's something that is of concern to you, you put it out there. I mean, not everything you're going to put out there. If you want to put something out there, it has to reach to that extent, it has to reach to that extent that, you know, you would have reached a point that it's become so disgust or you know, something that is bothering you, that you've reported, nobody's doing anything about it, you know, and you just need to get it out there in the right ear, right? Well, I would assume at this juncture there is no caller for tonight, and I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. It was a pleasure having you here tonight again on the return of my program, and thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for this time that you would have extended or you would have used to be here. So, however, this is my time for tonight. I'm out.
We are a peaceful people. Struggle is with struggle, and we don't look for trouble. Just ask around. But when outside faces from foreign places talk about taking over, we ain't backing down. We ain't giving up no mountains, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, not one caress, not a blade of grass. This land is all I know. We gonna make it somehow. We will bend like a bow and never break. Our fathers came here, and they lived and died here, and we ain't moving nowhere. Make no mistake, 'cause we ain't giving up no mountain, we ain't giving up no tree, we ain't giving up no river that belongs to we. Not one blue sake, not one rice grain, a blade of grass.